Good morning. It is the 3rd of December, and for my video this morning I thought that I would do a try on of my big whip, which is my Mosspath cardigan. I tend to have like one big whip on the go and then a couple of smaller things. So Mosspath cardigan is the big one, and I have sailor slippers and obviously everything else that I'm working on as kind of small side whips. But this is the first time that I'll be trying it on, so thought I would do that for you all this morning. This I've been powering through. I cast it on as like a dopamine, fall in love with knitting again whip. That's what it looks like so far. So I've got a fair chunk of the body and one pretty substantial sleeve. I was away a lot last week and I took this away as my knitting project for the week, and I brought there was a ball of yarn. They're all in sort of 50-gram balls like this. So there's a ball attached that was maybe like a little bit done, and I also brought a spare ball as well, thinking over the course of a week I'd probably get through both of those. And I was done with the second backup ball of yarn by like Wednesday, Thursday, and I was away until Sunday. So I was like, oh no, I've got all these trains that I'm not going to be able to work on it on. But this yarn was gifted by my partner's mum, and we saw them on the weekend on Saturday and Sunday, and they were like, you forgot the 10th ball of yarn, because I had 9. And I was like, amazing. So they brought it on Sunday, and then I had another ball of yarn that I could work on the train back home. So it all worked out in the end. And actually, that's quite good as well, because I had 450 grams of this, and I was kind of thinking that's going to be maybe just enough to do this cardigan, especially because, and I'll talk about this when I put this on, but especially because I tend to like things a little bit more on the cropped side. So I was expecting I wouldn't want to do the full length that's in the pattern, and then the ball of yarn would be fine. But there we go. This is it on. Looks so funny with just one sleeve, doesn't it? But the main purpose of trying this on actually was to check the sleeve length, because I still have to do 2 decreases. So I'll do another decrease shortly, and then it's about 10 more rows. And I think there's some ribbing as well for the arm. So that would make it probably quite big. This is looking quite big on. And actually, I'm kind of thinking that the body is largely where I want it to be as well. So sort of where my waist is on my dress, that's where I tend to want to have all of my garments end. So maybe I'm not actually that far off. Part of the story with this as well is that I'm using heavier yarn. So this is iron weight yarn, and the pattern called for DK. And I went down maybe like 3 or 4 needle sizes. So I went from 5mm down to 3.75. And I thought that would probably balance out, as well as I'm doing a slightly bigger size. Oh, it looks really good, if I do say so myself. I'm really pleased with it. I think the colour is so amazing. But with those 2 things, going down the needle size and also going slightly down in terms of the sizing, I thought it would be okay. But it is still looking quite big, isn't it? This sleeve, I think, is going to be probably out down to my knuckles, which is kind of what I wanted, because I did want this like more oversized, really comfortable, cozy cardigan. I think it's going to be so nice towards the end of the year and in January as well. Yeah. This is going to be really, really lovely. One other thing that I've done, I noticed this when I was maybe this far down the sleeve, is that all of the decreases under the underarm, I'm not going to be able to see this very well. Well, you can see where the stitch marker is. So all the decreases, I did 4 stitches to the front, and that's where that stitch marker is. So it's kind of decreasing in a slightly front forward way. And I don't know why I made that mistake, but then I was thinking about it and I realized it probably didn't matter that much. And actually, like, obviously looking at it on, it's I think it's definitely okay. And I'll probably do it in the same way on the other side, just to satisfy my symmetry loving brain. But I think you probably wouldn't notice even if I had made that mistake and not rectified it. Obviously there's also a collar yet to go on, and I think there's like 3 buttons that go here. Maybe that'll only be 2, given I'm probably going to do it fairly cropped. As I say, I think the body is largely where I want it to be. But I will finish off this sleeve. I'll do obviously the second sleeve, and then probably do another try on before doing any more on the body, because I think it obviously, like, it looks different on the side with the sleeve versus not just from one has a sleeve, but also the body like kind of lifts and sits a bit differently once that second sleeve is on. So when that happens, I will try this on again and just see how I'm feeling about it. But it's really cozy, it's really warm. This is making me so excited to have it. I think it's really beautiful. I think this is going to shape up to one of my favourite knits for this year. In terms of a sort of vloggy update, this morning I have my advent calendar coffee. I'm currently drinking cinnamon flavoured coffee. I didn't have one yesterday because I went to yoga so early, so I didn't have coffee in the morning. So I also had the coffee from yesterday, which was like a sweet almond flavour. Both highly rate. Both of these are going to come back. So I feel like over the course of the month, I'm going to develop some firm favourites and tell you all about it. We also obviously had my friends over for dinner last night, which was really nice to see them, and gave them the Winnie the Pooh toy, which I think went down well, but we will see how their little Bubba enjoys it. Tonight we are just in, we don't really have any plans. Probably try and go for a run or go to the gym or something like that, and probably have just poured coffee all over the floor. And also a little bit on the yarn. Excellent. It's okay, it's a dark colour, it will soak in. My cat is also kind of playing around on the floor, and she is very intrigued by the coffee that I'm going to have to pick up in a sec. I was saying tonight, probably going to go to the gym and probably do a little bit of a longer day at work, because we are going away for a long weekend over Friday to Monday, and we're going to be in Poland for the weekend, which will be really lovely. I'm really looking forward to it, but I need to do a little bit of a handover before then and make sure that everyone's prepped for my departure, my very sad departure. I forgot I was going to actually like measure the length that I need. I have my tape measure ready, but I don't think I need to do that. I feel like I'll just follow the pattern, complete the decreases, and then go probably straight into doing the ribbing. I think this is another thing I was going to mention. I have in my head measurements, my sort of standard measurements. Like, I know my full bust, because that's obviously quite easy to like gauge which size I'm going to do of a given pattern. But some measurements that I think would be really helpful to just have on the top of my head would be my underarm to wrist, my kind of preferred length. So I need to try and commit that to memory for the future. And I don't tend to need to use waist that much. There doesn't tend to be that many patterns that tell you specifically from bust to waist how many decreases you want to do. But again, that might be something that I commit to memory for the future. Anyway, I hope you have a lovely 3rd of December. Thank you so much for joining me and for trying on my Mosspath with me. I will see you tomorrow.